Hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Yeah, thank you, Ruth. I'm very much honored and humbled at your presence, and also at the presence of one of my mentor, one of my role model, PLO. We always meeting, huh? We're always meeting. And Jane is a friend of mine. Yeah, we've come a long way, especially in political youth leadership. I'm glad you're here, and more so for the role which you're playing in this country. You're advising on the youth issues. So this is very good. So I'm told I'll have another session. So here is just to briefly ask hypothetical questions, and to say that I remove. I'll be quarantined. Okay, so for me, I just want to take about probably 5 minutes, because I know we'll have an opportunity to discuss about entrepreneurship and stuff. And the question that comes every time we talk about young people, first question is unemployment. Young people goes with unemployment, especially in Kenya and in Africa as a whole. So then we ask ourselves, why entrepreneurship? And we say, and it's evident all over the world, that entrepreneurship right now is the only alternative that can bring solutions to the youth unemployment. Now, when we go into those breakups, we'll be looking at, we'll be scanning the environment and asking ourselves, do we have opportunities? Are opportunities there? Do we have institutional support? Are these institutional support real? I had someone say that's scam, and thank you for your honesty, isn't it? If you can't access it, it's a scam. Exactly. So how do we access these opportunities? But right now, everywhere in the world, everybody's talking about economic recovery, right? Isn't it? Post-COVID economic recovery. What are you young people of Kenya recovering from? What are you recovering? Unemployment, right? What are we recovering? Corruption, right? Yeah? What are we going to recover? What was our status before COVID? Is it something we are happy that we want to recover? Isn't it? So I challenge young people that for us it's not about recovery. It's about reimagining and rethinking our position going forward. It is good that we had this COVID effect. Now this COVID has made us realize where we were, that we were just hanging on, right? Now we want to stand on our both feet, isn't it? So what will be challenging, and I'm glad because the ministry is represented here and many other stakeholders, is that as we dwell into these so-called recovery discussions, for the youth, your agenda should be about belonging. You now start belonging, isn't it? You now start living, isn't it? Being what you have not. And for youth, I always tell them this, because she introduced me as a political actor. Yes, I am. But I tell young people that what is your generational mission? What is your generational mission right now? Is it political freedom? No. It is economic. So whenever you go somewhere and you start negotiating, and I tell youth, negotiate from empowerment perspective, okay? Everything that you see, any policies that comes on the table, like the National Youth Policy, interrogate it. Use the opportunities for economic growth in it. That should be your question. That should be your angle of negotiating on that table. So that whenever we start dwelling now into these economic recovery strategies, our question will be, we have had millions of us unemployed. So what are those strategies that are going to create employment to bring us to that level, where now we can talk probably as equal and contribute equally? So I just want to say, true, entrepreneurship is the way to go. I know the government has done tried to do a lot in the last 2 decades. The Youth Fund came into being to try and give credit access to the young people. We've had Agipo coming into being, and we were among the first, while I was the Youth Fund, actually we negotiated for this preferential treatment. Then in Kibaki government, President Kibaki that time gave us 10% of all government procurement. But the question is, are young people benefiting from this 10%? I did a research on assessing the effectiveness of all these government, and Jen, you need to listen to this. All these government initiatives, Agpo, Youth Fund, Uwezo, Women Fund, call them. I know young people don't like going to benefit from Women Fund, isn't it? You think that if you are a young girl under 35 years old, you are not a woman. You are a woman. That's also an opportunity. But what I found out, that there is this generic assumption by the government, not only Kenyan government, but everywhere in Africa, that young people are homogeneous. Are you homogeneous? So they think that any solution they come up with is a best-fit-all solution. Is that true? Because the entrepreneurial needs that young people in Kiambu faces are totally different from those entrepreneurial needs of a young person from that village in Busia County. Isn't that true? Yeah. Some people in rural areas are suffering from geographical isolations, isn't it? There's no internet connectivity. They have no role models. They have no social support. Then you introduce 50,000 shillings to start business. That person will need that 50 to access even the headquarters to register a business, isn't it? And then when he or she fails to pay, anawekwa wapi? CRB, isn't it? Are we helping that young person, or are we saddling that young person to poverty more? So what I'm saying, all these policies are good. All these government initiatives are wonderful. But when it comes to design, we don't design them in view of the various contexts within which young people belong, isn't it? We are here, we have people maybe who have masters, we have people who dropped out, isn't it? But our entrepreneurial needs are totally different. And probably this is the reason why Youth Fund has been there for more than, those 2 decades or so, but we haven't seen much impact. That's the reason why Agipo right now is being accessed by the rich, isn't it? The rich kids. Because these people cannot afford. So when we go to those breakouts, we'll be trying to work out some of the measures which we can do to improve some of these initiatives and to make sure that they indeed enable an entrepreneurial culture in this country. I just want to say, I hope to meet you there to discuss more and say that be hopeful, be positive. Nobody will bring economic freedom. Economic freedom is your function. We agree, young people? And if you let it be, we will be a generation that never was. Okay? Political freedom that you keep on singing and clapping for politicians of certain age, that is their generational mission. But for you, your generational mission is economic growth, economic empowerment. And I've heard some people say, oh, we have no ideas. Young people, right now you divorce your innovative thinking from your business concept. You usually divorce it. You're good at IT. Sometimes I challenge a young person. You're so busy on WhatsApp. 24 hours you're on WhatsApp. Do you know how much money you can use just if you are to use to exploit that creativity? Eh? You know how many dollars you'll be using every day on that smartphone and earn? But we are there, we want to be given handouts by these people and say, oh, NASA, oh, I don't know what, oh, Jubilee, oh, I don't know kieleweke. Well, kieleweke na unaeleweka na umasikini. Tangatanga na unatangatanga na umaskini wako. So what I'm trying to tell us is that for us to negotiate, we must negotiate from an economic perspective. If someone comes, challenge him, but how am I going to grow? Isn't it? Yes, it's good. You come up with good ideas and interrogate anything that is placed on the table. Interrogate and ask yourself, how many jobs are going to be created here? Another fallacy is to imagine that all young people can be entrepreneurs. That's a lie. It's the biggest lie ever, isn't it? Kila mtu anaweza fanya biashara. Nani atanunua kwa mwingine? So what I'm trying to say is that we'd rather even finance properly 1,000 young people in this country to create 100,000 jobs. Isn't that a better idea? We'd rather as youth fund give even finance even 5 million, 10 million, 20 million to a young entrepreneur. That young entrepreneur will create maybe an industry that can create 100,000 jobs. Won't we be growing forward? It's better than giving me 50,000 that cannot create any impact. When it comes to Agpo, they tell you go, you have Agpo, go, you can tender. But do you have money to service? You don't, isn't it? So what you do, why can then the government, and Jen through probably your advisory desk, tell them also to pay 50% up front? I give you a tender, right? Because in some tenders, they do that. See, they pay 50% up front, isn't it? If a young person a tender, pay them 50%, and then let them supply. Isn't that a good suggestion? But you're not clapping, so Jen will not take it. What I'm saying, we need to create that financial base. So we are saying, I won't tell you go and tender, a tender for 2 million. You go to the bank, will tell you you don't have a logbook, you don't have a title deed, you don't have what. Now, let the government instruct their departments, when it comes to that, give this young person 50% up front to enable this person to do what? Yeah, to supply, isn't it? So those are some of the solutions that we need to negotiate for the young people if we truly want to promote youth entrepreneurship in this country and also as an alternative of job and wealth creation. Thank you so much. More we'll discuss when we meet.